Hi, this is Alex Helmbrecht, the Sports Information Director at Chadron State College, and I'm sitting here this morning with Chadron State women's basketball coach Tim Connealy. I actually don't have any games to report on this week. The Eagles had a rare week off during the Thanksgiving holiday. I will talk to Coach about that here in just a second, but they did play at a tournament hosted by Metro State. They played Colorado Christian, and Lubbock Christian suffered 2 losses. But, Coach, I know that looking back, even though it was a couple weeks ago, you probably felt like you learned from that. You saw some good things, especially the play of Kate Simonton, a player you've kind of been waiting for her to get her chance, and she had a nice game. I think she scored 15 points, and then Katie Rana had her first career double-double. Dallas Shaw went over 20 in a game, so you're getting good performances.
Yeah, we're getting decent offensive performances right now. You know, it's the defense that's really lacking. And, Colorado Christian, we really didn't perform as well as I thought we would have in the second half. We knew that their press was going to be tough, and I thought with our young team that naturally it would take some time in that game just to kind of adjust to that quickness and their physicality. And I thought in the second half we'd get a lot more comfortable, and it just wasn't the case. It seemed like in the second half we kind of digressed a little bit, and instead of really working on executing our press break and defeating the press as a team, we had individuals trying to break the press by themselves, not being selfish, just trying to do what they can for the team, thinking they're helping when, really they were kind of hurting us. So that was a little disappointing. I know once we were able to break that press against Christian, our kids a lot of times took quick shots because naturally when you're being pressured that much and then, you're opened up for a split second, you're going to shoot the basketball. And I thought once we did break that press, our shot selection was just poor. We took some quick shots with a lot of time on the shot clock, which kind of got the score up a little bit. There's a lot more possessions in that game, which inflated our score as well as theirs. And then the next night against Lubbock, we had better energy. We played a little bit better. Lubbock's a great basketball team, but they're a little more structured defensively in the sense that they're more traditional. They run a half-court man-to-man. They don't switch a lot of screens. So we were able to actually work on some of our half-court sets that we've been working on the last 2 weeks. And I know the score doesn't necessarily show it, but the kids actually competed a lot better and executed better against Lubbock. And Kate Simonton was a good shot in the arm for us. She went down with a foot injury before our first exhibition game, and she was able to come out and practice, I think, 2 days before those games, which was good to see. Obviously there's some growing pains there where she hasn't played a whole lot and she's not quite in shape yet, and her conditioning, affected her mental game a little bit too. She kind of had some silly turnovers once she got tired, but it was great to have her on the floor. We become a lot more athletic, when she's on the floor. So she's getting a lot better, but I think once she gets her legs under the decision making, will improve.
As you mentioned, you guys are playing pretty well offensively. You're shooting just right at 40% on the season. Katie Rana, a player who's been in the program for 3 years but really hasn't ever started, played in probably about 24 games a season ago, is averaging a double-double through the first 3 games of the season, 16 points and 10 boards. She's also got a block and a steal, so she's doing a very nice job for you. Also leads your team in minutes. And then Dallas Shaw with 14 points and just a shade over 5 boards a game, and then getting a good performance from Jasmine Lopez, your freshman point guard, with 6 and 6. So defense, I know, is something that you can fix. Offense, you kind of one of those things you can work on as the season goes on, running set plays and things like that. But I'm fully confident that you and your coaching staff will get that defensive pressure going. You had a week off, though, this week, a rare week off. That you let the girls go home for Thanksgiving, maybe to get rid of some of these sour losses that they've experienced. How has practice been since you came back?
It's been really great. This is something we try to do every year. It's not something we can do, but giving our kids Thanksgiving off is something we like to do just because it's a good break for them. Kind of get away and see their family and kind of get re-energized a little bit. And we've had some great practices this week, probably some of the best practices we've had, and some of that's attributed to being able to do some extra film work over break and really honing in on some of those weaknesses. But I think the energy level's been really good this week, and the kids seem really motivated.
Well, the Eagles are probably going to need it because they have a tough weekend opening RMAC play. They will host Colorado Mesa on Friday. That game tips at 6 p.m., and then that will be followed by another game at 6 p.m. against Western State. Colorado Mesa is probably one of the top teams in the conference. They have just a handful of great players, including Kelsey Siegel, who's a preseason player of the year. She's averaging 14.7 rebounds. She's also got 11 assists, 7 steals, a handful of blocks, a really good all-around player. Mesa is currently 4-0 on the season. They're 2-0 at home, 2-0 on neutral floor, so they haven't technically played an away game yet. Coach, what are you hoping to accomplish on Friday?
We're just the same goal we've had all year. We're just trying to improve every single day, and Mesa is a good opponent. Every opponent we face is going to be good for us this year. So, they got some talented kids. Siegel, obviously the preseason player of the year. She's a dynamic post player that is one of the best 3-point shooters in our conference. She can put the ball on the floor. The Seltzer sisters, both averaging I think about 14 or 15 a game right now. Very dynamic players, and they're very deep. I think they're beating teams by about 30 a game, but for us right now, our focus really hasn't been as much on our opponents, especially early in this year with the young team we have. It's been more on us and just, figuring out our defensive system has been the biggest struggle, and that's one thing that we've been improving on is just learning our system defensively. And with our defensive system, it doesn't really matter what the other team's doing offensively. It doesn't change what we do. So that doesn't affect, our practices a lot. But Mesa's going to be a great team Friday night. And then Western's coming in Saturday at 6, and I haven't watched a lot of film on them. My scout's Mesa. My assistant Caitlin Petrie's been watching some of Western, but just talking with her, she thinks we can maybe match up with them decent. I haven't seen any film on them. I know they have a new coach and an entire new roster for the most part. So, sorry, not a lot of info there.
Yeah, Western State, as Coach mentioned, is a team in transition. They lost their head coach, Latricia Trammell. She took a job, I believe, in Oklahoma, where she was from. Is always really one of the more gracious coaches. Always would shake hands at the scorer's table. She'd get after the refs a little bit, but she'll probably be missed in the conference. The Mountaineers are currently 0-4 on the season, and are really struggling, allowing 67 points a game and just scoring a shade under 44. So hopefully the Eagles can match up well with the Mountaineers, as Coach said. And also on Saturday, it'll be kind of a fun atmosphere. Christina Harder and Molly Jones are working with a student activity association to get more fans involved, more student fans involved. So there's going to be an ugly sweater contest on Saturday. So if you've got one of those, Coach, I know you don't have any. You're a pretty fashionable guy, but if you have any of those, bring them out for the games. And both of those tip off at 6. So best of luck to you, Coach. Thanks.
I appreciate it. Look forward to seeing everybody this weekend.